These people mean business. For weeks, members of the Special Task Force have been observing the house of a suspected trafficker. Today, they're going to pounce. The atmosphere is tense, but Solomon Okodua reassures us. For him and the team, this is now routine. In the last few months, they've arrested 30 human traffickers.
Are you prepared for all eventualities so that nothing will go wrong?
In case of any eventuality, our officers that we have here know what to do. They are fully prepared for the operation today.
The state governor set up the task force 6 months ago and made Solomon special advisor. He has first-hand experience of what it's like to spend years in Libya trying to survive. He came back 6 years ago, determined to take up the fight against human trafficking.
Yeah, because of the experience I had in Libya when I was in Libya. The inhuman treatment being meted on our Nigerian girls and boys in that place is something to write home about, and that is one of my motivation.
So it makes you feel good to get some of those bad guys?
Yeah, sure. The bad guys are the brain behind this inhuman treatment of that place. The kidnapping, the ransom taking, and all sort of things.
We close in on the suspect's house. The operation begins.
Okay, so they've obviously identified the trafficker, and the next minutes will be crucial for the operation.
Bad luck. The suspect's not at home. Maybe he got a tip-off. Still, the task force did arrest a woman who probably belongs to the network. But she seems to be at the bottom of the hierarchy, a so-called recruiter who gets paid for luring in young girls.
Most of the time, we go for the bigger guys. But in case I do not have much information about the big guys, we go for the lesser guys to link us with the big guys.
For years, Benin City in southern Nigeria has had a reputation as a center for human trafficking. It used to be mainly young women who were smuggled into Europe to work as prostitutes. More recently, the human traffickers have expanded their network, also in Libya. Many migrants are held captive there and have to work as slaves or pay a ransom. North African and Nigerian bands work hand in hand. Solomon had hoped that the arrest of the recruiter would help the task force get the names of the big fish. But the woman stubbornly remained silent. The best tips, the team told us, usually come from former victims. For some time now, Nigeria has been expanding its program for returning migrants. Most of them first stay in this former hotel in Benin City. Solomon questions a group who were flown out of Libya just a few days ago. He often has to be an investigator and psychologist at the same time. One of the women still has the dry bread she was given in the traffickers' hideout.
They will ask you to pay $1 to Egypt with this name. I should pay it to Egypt through Western Union MoneyGram, and they will beat you for it. If you refuse to pay the money, they will kill you. Men, women, children, they do die. So please, we are begging for them to go and rescue those ones that are still in Libya, to bring them back home, please.
The returnees are ready to tell us everything about the traffickers. We are lucky, because that's not always the case. Solomon gives us an address outside Benin City. There, he explains, we'll get to know how the traffickers force migrants into slavery and prostitution. A juju priest lives here, a kind of local magician. Victims often have to endure gruesome rituals. If they don't obey the traffickers, something terrible will happen to them. That's the superstition. The task force is now trying to involve juju priests in their work. This one is ready to cooperate. At least that's what he says.
All I do is give the migrants my blessing for their journey. There are special spirits in the desert and the sea, but I don't want to have anything to do with the traffickers anymore.
Even more dangerous than superstition is young people's lack of hope for the future. Solomon tells us that some victims even become traffickers themselves just to have a job. That's why returnees should be able to do paid vocational training. But the students in this tailor's class are unhappy.
They haven't paid me anything. Go to Heritage Bank. Heritage Bank is a bank of the government for this program.
When I went to the Heritage Bank 3 days ago, I met the manager. I told him that I have not been paid. I have not received any salary from the government.
But others have received. Go to Heritage
Money
Bank,
isn't the only issue. Many ask what will happen when the 2-week course is over.
We have been deported with so many promises, and up till now, you see, nothing has been done.
When they will disappoint you, what will you do?
If they leave us in the streets, it will increase the rate of crime. Like seriously, it will increase the rate of crime. Like the Bible says, an idle man is the devil worship. So we don't want to be idle. Let them keep us busy.
For Solomon and his team, a tiring day comes to an end. They're proud of their work, but they know the most difficult part still lies ahead. It's unclear whether the thousands of disillusioned and traumatized returnees will find new hope back home, or if they'll just leave again. But Solomon is determined to carry on until the last human trafficker in Benin City is caught.